Hiya, hiya. Yes, I am relentless. The bird is giving me a hickey. I don't know if I want one of those. Thank you very much. I got the bird that crapped all over me is a snowbird. The ones that visit from New York and come down to Florida. Those are the ones that are relentless. I'm relentless. So are a lot of people in our society right now. Things that are happening in our government are by people who are relentless. They just simply don't give up. They haven't given up on that Mueller thing, or it's all politics. I can't stand to watch the TV. I hope you're watching this because you are in agreement with me. You watch the television, all it is a police blotter. When I was a kid, they used to have barber shops with the Police Gazette was a magazine and detective, and you would read that while you're waiting for your 75-cent haircut, or was it 30? And you sit there and you read this police stuff, and you see bodies of mostly Italians in those days, and they would be just crumbled up from being shot, and you'd say, wow, this is more exciting than porn. We didn't have that then. We had porn, but we weren't putting it in barbershops. Now they put it on TV every day. It's called music videos. But this society right now, which is in for a real awakening, it's so sick. But that's what makes comedy. The disease is what makes it dis-ease, uneasiness. That's what makes it funny. It's not funny if it's not out of place. You take something, you put it out of frame. That's humor. I once asked, who was it that I asked? I think it was Alan King years ago. I said, what makes something funny? And he says, I don't know. And I said, well, what's comedy about? He said, whatever's funny. whatever makes people laugh. Some people look at things and they're curious. They go, or I didn't think of that. I have a friend who thinks that the lighting behind me yesterday was halo. It was the sunshine, and I look like I was a saint. I have no saintly instincts at all. I mean, the only thing that I can tell you is that there is Purgatory for Catholics, which is a halfway house for sinners. And I'd like to know who thought of that one. But it's the Joey Reynolds Rap, and it's a lot of BS. Not necessarily the Purgatory, but the CBS is where I belong. I belong on the CBS without the C. I've said that before, but I'm going to say it again. Because I think of the people who are on television right now, and many of them are there because they're interviewing other people, talking about other people. Someone used to ask me, well, who was on your show tonight? I says, I don't know. What do I care? Whatever's in front of me, I'll eat. I was raised that way. Put a plate in front of me, I eat my meal. My mother didn't ask me. She didn't have me a menu. And the same thing when you're doing a show with guests. You don't sit there and have a menu. You sit there and you have a chat. You talk to people, tell their story, and find out if they're interesting. If they're not, you tell them to go home and then have the bird crap on you, which is always funny. So this is it. You're either going to be ridiculous, or you're going to be funny, or you're going to be daring and just very negative about everything and how hateful everything is. I was standing in line today at the Salvation Army, not for my meal, but I've done that before. And I said to the one woman there, we were talking about how rude people are. I said, well, we're not so rude as we are separated. We don't have a good manners because we don't have the family structure to tell kids to get off that phone. Did your father ever tell you that when you were a kid? Get off that phone. Or my father when he was a fighter, and I smoked a cigarette in the house. I was daring at 16. And I was sitting next to my dad, who at this point in time was working in automobiles, and he was all grease monkeyed. And I was sitting there, I lit up my Marlboro, and my father struck me and knocked the cigarette to the floor and said, don't smoke. That was the end of it. Now, can you imagine someone doing that with a cell phone? Don't text. That's what we need. You need discipline. You need parenting. But the parent can't go out and do it, otherwise the parent's a hypocrite. You can't do the same thing and then tell a kid. See, kids don't listen to you, they watch you. And they observe, Kids aren't observers, they're observers. They look at everything we do, and then they make the judgment for themselves. And when they leave the house, then they tell all their friends how terrible you were. They come back, though, for regular payments. Hey, it's a Reynolds Rap.